Today, we're diving into a really fascinating system for protecting your ideas called the Philfo framework. It's a whole new way of thinking about how we secure our creative work, from that very first spark all the way to a finished product.
So, let's start with a problem we've all had, right? You get this flash of inspiration, this amazing idea. It's raw, it's not totally formed, but you just know it's something special. How do you prove that idea was yours before you share it with anyone or even type it into a Google Doc? That's the core question this whole framework is built to answer.
And the solution starts with something you might not expect, something physical, something you can actually hold in your hand.
This right here is the Philfo Smart Card. The idea is for it to be your own personal IP vault. It's designed to be an unhackable proof of creation. Now, the key thing to get is that this isn't about storing your finished movie script in the cloud. Nope. This is about creating a solid physical record of your initial idea, right at that moment of inspiration.
And this highlights a really critical difference in how we think about security. Cloud services, they operate on what you could call security by infrastructure. You're trusting a huge company's massive online system to keep you safe. The Philfo Smart Card, on the other hand, uses security by isolation. Because it's completely offline, you have total physical control, it's just not connected to the internet, so remote hacking, not going to happen.
This table really clears things up. It shows you the different roles these tools are meant to play. It's not about one being better than the other, it's about using the right tool for the right stage of your project. The Smart Card is for that initial, raw, private idea, what the framework calls the natural stream. Cloud tools like Google Drive, they're perfect for the later stages when you're collaborating and getting ready to share your work with the world.
So you're probably wondering, okay, how does everyone get one of these? And this is where the business model gets really clever. It's called the Facilitators Package. The idea is, instead of you going out and buying the card, companies you already use, like Google or your antivirus provider, would just include it for free with their service. They pay for it, making real IP protection a seamless, no-cost part of your digital life.
Okay, so we've got this physical card, but that's just one piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. The card is specifically made to protect the very first stage in what this system calls an idea's 3 distinct lives. At the very heart of the Philfo framework are these 3 things called the NTA streams. That's natural, traditional, and artificial. This simple concept is the key to organizing the entire journey of a creative project, from that first spark to the final product.
So here's how it breaks down. First, you have the natural stream. That's your private aha moment. Then, you move into the traditional stream. This is where you start sharing the idea, working with others, and turning it into something more concrete. And finally, you have the artificial stream, which is the polished final product that's ready to go out into the world.
Now that we understand this life cycle, we can see how the framework builds specific layers of protection around each stage. This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal.
What's so smart about this is that the level of protection actually grows as the idea matures. In that early, natural stage, it's pretty simple, a basic NDA and your fundamental copyright. But as you move into the collaborative, traditional stage, the NDA gets a bit stronger, and ownership becomes what's called a permit. Finally, for the commercial, artificial stage, you've got a super strict NDA and a full license.
And this CPL system, copyright, permit, license, is absolutely crucial. It basically throws out the old single idea of ownership for something much more detailed. But here's the most important part. That initial copyright always stays with the original creator, the so-called ghost author. This makes sure that you're always recognized as the source, no matter what happens to the project down the line.
The framework even has a cool philosophical name for all this: cymatics. The idea is that just like sound waves can create unique, beautiful patterns, the specific mix of rules you use for your project creates a distinct seal of protection. It's like a unique fingerprint for every single creation. So, we have a physical card, and we have this whole conceptual framework for protecting ideas. But the vision gets even bigger. It's about connecting the value created inside communities to the modern digital economy, and using AI as the bridge to make it happen. Okay, this is where things get really ambitious. The framework is designed to connect 2 totally different economic systems, each running on its own special kind of blockchain. One for community-based value, and another one for the global marketplace. First up, you have the traditional blockchain. The best way to think about this is like a private, trust-based system just for communities and their collective IP. It's built to manage all the value that gets created during that collaborative traditional phase of a project we talked about.
So the big question is,
How do you connect that closed, trust-based system to the open global market? Well, this is where AI steps in. It acts as a kind of translator. It verifies the work, figures out what it's worth, and then securely translates those community assets into something that can be traded. Basically, AI is the bridge that turns community trust into modern digital value.
And that whole translation process feeds directly into the second system, the modern blockchain. This is the crypto layer that connects the community's validated work to the rest of the world. It's the pipeline for value to flow from the local community out to the global economy.
All right, let's bring this all home. We've got a smart card, a 3-stage creative life cycle, and a 2-blockchain economy linked by AI. What's the end game here? What's the point of all this? Why does any of it really matter?
Well, this isn't just some abstract theory. It's a practical model designed to empower independent creators in smaller communities. By supporting what it calls community brands, it creates new ways for people who are often shut out of the traditional IP system to actually build wealth from their ideas.
And this goal of inclusion is a really big deal. For instance, the source material points to the underrepresentation of women in STEM research, where participation in some fields is as low as 3% compared to much higher rates in other areas. A system that makes it easier to protect and develop ideas could have a huge impact on who gets to innovate.
I mean, listen to this. There are potentially billions of creators out there working in community systems who are completely disconnected from the formal big money research networks. This framework is designed to build a bridge for that massive, untapped pool of human creativity.
So in the end, this entire complex system, from the little smart card to the AI bridge, is all built on one powerful premise. What if we could truly protect the initial spark of an idea? So I'll leave you with this question to think about. If you knew your rawest, most vulnerable ideas were completely safe from the very beginning, what would that free you up to create?